Want to support the Straight Red Card? No, you say? Well, hey, we're not exactly becoming millionaires doing this show. And we know that's not exactly your problem. But after numerous requests for a podcast, we thought we'd provide you with exactly what you weren't looking for. The official The Straight Red Card t-shirt. So, be cooler than all your other soccer friends and get one. Blah, blah, blah. And, well, you know the rest of the spiel. We're also carrying the dogs' artistic renderings of various U.S. and MLS players. So if you're interested, just go here. And again, thanks for humoring us and support the Straight Red Card, even if you hate, say, Brett, as we all know how divisive he can be. So now back to the show. Del Piero is not going to be one of them. And that's the other rumor, or the discussion going on, that Alessandro is, of course, thinking about coming to the MLS. And this isn't something new. It's been talked about forever and ever. But, of course, as usual, Brett, there are a lot of people out there saying, don't sign Del Piero, just like they said, don't sign Thierry Henry, and don't sign David Beckham, and don't sign, well, Hasselbeck doesn't belong in that category, but, you know, he's a European player who's getting older, and don't sign guys like that. They're just worn out, you know. They're scrubs, man. They're just getting paychecks. So, what say you? I mean, come on. It's Del Piero, buddy. It's Juventus. Come on. It's your team.
We know that two teams have been in contact with his agent, and that's Seattle and Chicago. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for Chicago. Yep. I would love to see him there. I think if you play him, if Chicago got him and they played him up top with Oduro, I think that'd be a prime.
That'd be sweet.
Tandem. You would have the speedy option to keep the defense true and at bay, and then you'd have Del. Who's playing in front of Grazzini, who's playing in front of Pardo. I think that'd be one hell of a spine.
Right.
And you know that's one thing that we were missing was a clinical finisher.
Yeah.
And on top of that, we'd have a set piece taker.
Yep.
That's not named Papa.
Yep.
So I mean, nothing against Papa, but he's no Del Piero when it comes to free kicks.
Right. Right.
So I mean, he's Asian. He's going to be like 30. He's 37.
He's Asian.
Yeah.
Aging. I was going to say he's not Asian. Yeah. And
he's gonna. They talk that he'll if he signs, he'll be signing at the end of he'll be finishing out his contract year with Juventus.
Yep.
Which means that he'll be here in the summer if he comes. So will Seattle? I know New York and LA won't be ponying up the cash.
There's
for him.
no
There's no need
way.
for him.
Well, there's no way.
No way.
There's no way because, A, you've already got Keane. What, are you going to get rid of Keane and bring in Del Piero? No, that's not happening.
You could remove. Well, no, they've already got 3 designated players. It all depends on if if David Beckham comes back.
So Beckham leaves, and then you have Beckham leaves the Galaxy, and you replace Beckham with Del Piero. That makes no sense at all. Since you have Donovan and you have Keane, those are striker wingers. Donovan more of the wing than the striker later on in the game. There's no point in signing somebody like Del Piero if you're the Galaxy.
That's why I said LA and New York won't be signing him.
It doesn't fit in. And for New York, you have Henry. And you have, Rogers probably coming back. You have Agudelo. There's no point in signing another striker for either of those two teams. So it's going to be Seattle. It's going to be Chicago. It's going to be someone else other than the big two.
Yep. And most likely it'll probably only be for a 1-year contract with maybe options if
he's 37, right?
He's 37. So
that is old. That's really old. There are other players out there who are younger who are free agents, right?
That is one thing. I know with MLS, if you do sign a designated player under the age of 24, it doesn't. I think it doesn't count against your cap at all.
Right.
So I would love it if more teams did that, but it's tough to pull. It's tough to get that young of a designated player. You'd have to go the Montero route where you bring them in early and see if they're worthy of designated player money, and then go from there.
what about, Brett, all the free agents out there, or even players playing in Qatar, or, I mean, let's start with Graffiti, for instance. He scored 59 goals for Wolfsburg. He's 32 years old. His contract for Wolfsburg comes to an end. And the United Arab Emirates team, Al Ali Dubai, they go out and they're paying him a crap load, and they sign him. No rumors, not a lot of rumors of MLS teams going after him. There's a guy who could still perform in the MLS. There are all kinds of players out there. There's Ishiako. He's 28 years old. He used to play for Cologne. He's a free agent. My big question is, what about Paul Staltieri? He played for Mönchengladbach, Fulham, Tottenham. He's Canadian. He's 34 years old. He's a free agent. Why are there no Canadian teams after that guy? I mean, there are all kinds of players out there. And I can think of extremely skilled players, even like Manish, who played for Sporting, Chelsea, Inter, Atletico Madrid. He's only 34 years old. So there are all kinds of options out there. Your big buddy David Trezeguet, he's a free agent now.
Trezeguet.
Yeah.
I would love to have him also. Not together, although that'd be a fun pairing to have. But I would also love to have Trezeguet in there.
But these are all players, and let's face it, there's still a lot of people want to come and play in the United States because they want to live in the United States. They'll take the pay cut. They'll take $180,000 a year to come and play here. They'll take $125,000 a year to come. They're not David Beckham. They know that, right? So they get a chance to come to the United States, live in the United States, play in the United States. They're still healthy. They're still relatively young. A lot of these guys can play until they're 37, 38 years old now. And there are a lot of these guys out there. And what I don't see, and the MLS going after these older players, because why? Why? Because we don't like older players, or at least, that's a lot of there's a lot of commentary out there. Oh, don't get older players. Older players. And I already did the spiel, right? Mm-hmm. Why shouldn't we get older players if they can still contribute?
People are just been out of shape about the whole topic of, MLS is just a retirement league.
But there's no proof of that. There's no proof.
If the players are capable of coming in and improving the team, I don't care how old the player is. I would like them to go after a younger player that'll improve the team. However, if they want to bring in a 37-year-old striker that will net goals, I could care less.
I mean, I do have my questions about Del Piero at this point. And I do think 37 is a little old. Mm-hmm. But there are plenty earlier 30-something players. I mentioned Graffiti, who's 32. I mentioned Manish, who's 34. There are a bunch of others. Oliver Thomer, Gregor Serdan, who played at Le Mans, he's 29. Even Trezeguet's 34. Steve Malbronk, who played for Sunderland and Tottenham, he's 31. Now, I understand that his son has cancer, and so he's taking, time off from soccer. But there's Jason Kumas. He's 32. He played for Wigan, West Brom. I haven't heard any rumors about anybody pursuing him. He's a very, very astute player. You could probably get it at a fairly discounted price. Mamadou Niang, who played for Marseille. He's a Senegalese international. He's 32. And is another player that we lost to some, Middle Eastern league, and in this case, the Qatari league. He plays at Al Sadd now. There are plenty of players out there I don't think we're pursuing hard enough that can still play this game, and maybe players like Niang and there are others like Graffiti are taking the big paycheck, and they're going to go play and do, in the United Arab Emirates and Qatar because those particular teams are owned by gazillionaires and they can shovel out the big cash. I'm just wondering, and I'm asking the question, are we approaching these type of players who are still relatively young and saying, you're a really good player. We want you to come to the MLS. It's a question. Throwing it out there. I'd love to have a whole show where we just talk about all the players that are available out there that we don't hear anything in regards to MLS approaching these players. And believe me, I have a longer list than the players that I just mentioned now. And maybe I'll put them out there at some point and just list them and see what people think and what their opinions are, because there are lots of them. Other than that, I think we're about out of show.
Yeah.
I guess the only thing I was going to bring up and just mention that you mentioned before in posts is that Beckerman and Robbie Rogers are going to be training abroad at Kaiserslautern.
This is a huge list of MLS players playing abroad.
Yeah, Perry Kitchen, well, not playing, training, right?
Training. Well, yeah.
And Kitchen's going to Freiburg. Brunbury to Bolton. He said, I guess he gave Hoffenheim the finger. I'm not sure why, since there's
also talks that Bunbury might pass on the training to go to the U23 camp that's going to be in Florida this winter.
Could be.
Which I hope he doesn't. But
yeah,
there's also Nahar going to Tottenham.
Yeah, of course he's not an American player.
No, but I didn't know we were specifically stating American.
No. Yeah, screw Nahar. Yeah,
that's in Germany right now.
Yeah.
I mean, the list goes on.
Yeah.
You already know about Shea. We already know about Hamid.
Right. I guess the point is there hasn't been a time prior to this where I remember so many American players going overseas to train, and I think we owe that to Klinsmann, don't we?
He's certainly getting some players in.
I mean, most of them are playing in Germany.
Yeah, he's getting, like I said, he's getting Beckerman and Rogers in, I'm sure. He'd probably place a phone call there.
Yeah.
I'm sure other players that have been called up several times, like Agudelo and Bill Hamid, probably, I don't know, maybe their club's got a hold of somebody, but, I mean, I'm sure Klinsmann had a big hand in, as far as that. And he's the one who came out and said, hey, we need to be playing and training pretty much year-round. So
yeah, and he's making efforts to make that happen.
Yep.
And, as old as Kyle Beckerman is, and I don't know how long his contract, how far out that goes with MLS. But
I think Robbie's out of contract right now.
Rogers?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and this is an opportunity. Not that Kaiserslautern is, I mean, believe me, many years ago they had some great seasons, but they're one of those teams that seems to struggle lately. So, but it's good to see all these guys over there in the off season training and playing. And a guy like Beckerman, maybe he has 1 or 2 years overseas. He could still play before coming back to the MLS. We don't know. All right, until the next time on the Straight Red Card.